Thank you to Akiflow for sponsoring a portion of today's video. Today we're talking about procrastination. This is a topic that's been much requested over the years, and I'm going to explain why I've been so reluctant to talk about it in this video actually. Here's what you can expect out of today's video. So we're going to talk about the mentality that makes me almost immune to procrastination. I did have a recent bout of it. Then we're going to talk about how procrastination is often something deeper. There's something underlying it, and if you can get to that cause, that can help with nipping it in the bud long term. And then I have a guest on today's video, Nikolai, my husband. He is someone who self-identifies as an occasional procrastinator. So since it's not something that I totally relate to, I thought I'd bring him on, have a chat with him about his experience, and just have a little bit of a back and forth about it. So I've never been a person who really understands procrastination, and this is partly because of the way that I was raised, partly because of who I am as a person. I feel like I very much have the exact opposite problem, which is if I get an assignment, I need to do it that very second, or if I have something on my task list, I would rather do it now than later, to the point where I just like straight up never relax because I'm just always front loading everything. Now that I'm my own boss, that there's nobody sort of telling me what to do, that I make my own schedule, I make my own work hours, I'm realizing that I'm way more tyrannical of a boss than anyone could be to me. You know, like I put some expectations on myself that are just not realistic. I keep myself in check better than anyone else would, and that is part of the reason why I would be a good boss for myself, but it also has its shadow side, of course, because it's not great for mental health. So let me explain the mentality that I feel like kind of makes me immune to procrastination. I cannot live in the moment. I cannot relax in the present if I know there are things to be done in the future. I'm very much a person who lives for the future. I live for future endeavors, future hopes, things that I'm looking forward to, not necessarily things that are happening right now. Of course, I would not recommend that. I do not think that's healthy. It's something I'm very actively trying to work on. But it makes me immune to procrastination. You know, like if I look around and I see that the home is messy or that something needs to be done, and maybe I'd really like to just relax, sit on the couch and do some reading. I can't relax. I cannot do some reading. I feel like I need to do that thing first before I can give myself permission to rest. If I have an assignment in 1 month, I'm not going to get it done in 1 month. I'm going to get it done at the very first opportunity I have, and then a month from now, I'm going to have already had it prepared. Delayed gratification is kind of my jam. You know, I would rather do something I don't want to do now and relax later than to relax now and have something kind of floating over my head. Obviously, there are advantages and disadvantages to this. Advantages are obviously you don't procrastinate. You don't have to worry about not getting things done on time. In fact, you get things done early, then you can relax more. Disadvantages, you can't relax until everything is done. And that day that you fantasize of, that day when you'll have nothing on your schedule, it doesn't really turn out like that. There's always more to do. There's always something you could find to be productive. So you gotta kind of force yourself sometimes to relax. But if you struggle with procrastination, you might find it helpful to adopt just a teeny tiny bit of this mindset. Think about how amazing it's going to feel when it's done. Think about how you're going to reward yourself. Maybe you're going to take a bath and have a glass of wine, or maybe you're going to make a puzzle with your friends. Whatever it is, think about how amazing and how fully you'll be able to rest in the future if you just get this thing out of the way now. You know, like for instance, I'm going on my honeymoon very shortly, and I'm literally planning out like a month's worth of videos for you guys because I don't want to have it hovering over my head while I'm over there thinking like, when should I film the next video? What should the topic be? How can I make sure that I'm on track? How should I make sure I stay in the algorithm's good graces? Like, I'm not gonna have to worry about that. I'm just gonna know it's all been taken care of. Now I can just fully relax. And in this way, I can be very present during the trip and ironically have a lot of creative things popping up just naturally that I don't have to force. And when I come back, I know that I'm probably going to have a lot of new ideas to implement. I mentioned that I'm pretty much immune to procrastination with small exceptions. So ironically, while I was preparing for this video, I noticed myself kind of avoiding it, putting it off as much as possible. And I never do this, you know? So I was like, what's going on? And then it occurred to me, like, this is the perfect opportunity to experience what I'm actually talking about, to be able to put myself in those shoes so that I can better understand the phenomenon and better speak to how to fix it. So for me personally, the procrastination was about self-doubt. I was procrastinating about making the video on procrastination because I was worried that not having much personal experience with it, even though I have helped clients with it, I was worried that people would think I don't understand them, or that I missed the mark, or that I would come off insensitive in some way. At the core, it was self-doubt. It was fear about not being good enough in this specific area. And so that made me think, if you're in this position pretty universally, if you tend to procrastinate with everything in your life, that begs the question, do you doubt yourself as a whole? Do you feel like you have low self-confidence or low self-efficacy that you can achieve the things you set out to do? What you might have on your hands is not necessarily procrastination, but rather global low self-esteem. So you see how oftentimes underneath the procrastination, there's something deeper. It's not just, I just can't initiate this task. It sometimes goes into something emotional or trauma or self-esteem. Other times that deeper thing that procrastination is about could be fear of failure. Saying to yourself, hey, if I don't try, then I can't take it personally as a reflection on me if I don't do well on this thing. If I do put in the effort, then failing on it will be a reflection of my incompetence. Or it could be feeling undeserving of success, feeling like if I succeed, I'm going to be guilty, either because someone made you feel like you shouldn't succeed, that you're a nobody, someone made you feel worthless, or someone doesn't want you to outshine them, someone may be very close to you, maybe in your upbringing. So I think it's really important with procrastination, not just the cognitive piece of get into this mindset of delayed gratification, not just having all these tools to help you, but also getting at the core of it. And that's something that you can really do with therapy, especially depth-oriented therapy. Otherwise, the problem just pops up in a different form. If you don't get to the root of it, the weed's just going to pop out in a different part. Now, if you're someone who really struggles with productivity and time management, you might really benefit from today's sponsor, Akiflow. Akiflow is a time blocking platform that makes it easy to consolidate all your tools in one place and block off time for your tasks in your calendar. Time blocking tools can help you allocate specific time slots for each task or activity. This structured approach forces you to plan your day, reducing the likelihood of procrastination. When you have a clear schedule, you're more likely to follow through on your commitments. Akiflow often allows you to prioritize tasks within your time blocks. By focusing on the most important tasks first, you're less likely to procrastinate on less essential or more daunting ones. The visual cues provided by the tool remind you of your priorities. So you have your calendar, you can create an event, drop a task straight in, or you can make a time slot where you can drop multiple tasks. So for instance, I have a content creation slot, and that's where I do multiple things. I write out content for a YouTube video, record, edit, write out TikToks, record, edit. Seeing your tasks and time blocks on a calendar or timeline can make your day more tangible. It's easier to visualize your responsibilities and deadlines, making it less likely that you'll put tasks off until later. Akiflow often comes with notification features. These reminders can prompt you to start a task or transition to the next one, preventing procrastination that's caused by forgetfulness. While time blocking tools provide structure, they also allow for flexibility. So if a task takes longer than expected or an urgent matter arises, you can adjust your schedule accordingly, reducing the frustration that might have led to procrastination. Procrastination can sometimes stem from burnout or mental fatigue, and Akiflow can help you schedule breaks and rest periods, ensuring that you have time to recharge. This can prevent procrastination that arises from feeling overwhelmed or exhausted. This also helps you minimize the attention and stamina that you lose when you're task switching. So for a lot of people who struggle with procrastination, that initial hurdle of just initiating the task is the hardest part. So if you're having to switch between multiple tasks, even open up your laptop, open your calendar, by the time you get to that, it's even more energy that you have to expend to actually do the task. So Akiflow is very helpful for just one place for all of these things. You don't have to initiate and reinitiate tasks. It's just all there. You can also organize your tasks or slots into labels and tags. So for me, I'm somebody who has multiple different areas of my business. And so it's really helpful to think about all those different divisions and which one goes into where. They also have a rituals button I love where you review yesterday and you plan today. They also have something called the command bar, which is used to add and manage tasks, and you can create a shortcut to make it pop up on your computer. It could be whatever shortcut is best fit for you. Lastly, something that I really really love about this product is that it's not solely focused on productivity. You know, it's not like compulsive in that sense. When I was meeting with Akiflow, they really emphasized that they want their clients to feel good while using it. They want to make their life easier, want them to have more pleasant emotions rather than frustration. And as a therapist, that's something that I really value. So please go ahead and check out Akiflow if you want to learn more. Let's get to the interview with the procrastinator. Hi, you guys remember Mr. Dr. Onayuden?
Mr. Dr. Onayuden.
So you're a master procrastinator, huh?
I am a master procrastinator. I've mastered procrastination.
So can you tell us a little bit about how that looks for you?
How it looks is, it doesn't come with every sort of task. I don't put everything off to the last moment, but when it comes to like while I was in school, push things off till like, the last day before an assignment was due. It wasn't without reason. I would start the project beforehand, so I had an idea of what it is that I will have to do. If it has like elements of critical thinking or creativity.
No critical thinking.
No, I would marinate on these topics.
You stole my word.
Not necessarily. I've used that word many a times.
No, I mean in this context. So we were talking about this earlier. We had a little discussion about it. I was saying how, from my perspective, what you're describing is different. It's not necessarily procrastination. It's more in line with the marination that Clarissa Pinkola Estes discusses in Women Who Run with the Wolves, where you're trying to like build up your creative energy, figure out what vision you want for it, but instead of forcing it when it's premature, you're just letting it marinate, like a sauce. You're just letting all the good stuff infuse into it. Does Chianti procrastinate?
No, she does everything right away. She's very impatient, with certain tasks at work, whether it's writing content for work, come up with like a basic template of what I want to accomplish, and then come back to it after a few hours, a few days, and crank it out.
That doesn't actually sound like procrastination though.
Well, I'm not sitting there like watching videos, psychology videos from Psychology with Dr. Anna.
No, that would be very bad.
I'm not
That'd be
avoiding
terrible.
it, but I'm not doing things right away.
Yeah. What do you think? You're doing the AK Chianti.
Yeah.
What do you think is underneath the procrastination for you?
What do you mean by underneath?
So I was just talking about how oftentimes underneath procrastination there's something deeper, like fear of failure, feeling like you don't deserve success, low self-efficacy. For you, do you feel like there are certain situations where you procrastinate more than others that reflect that deeper issue?
Yeah, I think, I might spend too much time on something if I start it right away. I need that pressure of a deadline to push myself to have it finished, but I like to approach that deadline
with urgency.
With urgency, exactly. And yeah, I think, I might spend too much time on something if I start it right away. I need that pressure of a deadline to push myself to have it finished, but I like to approach that deadline
with urgency.
With urgency, exactly, and have time to also think about it before I start the work.
So it's not about like low self-esteem for you?
No, it's not about.
Why are you torturing her?
I'm not torturing her. She's fine. She wants to stay.
Yeah, it's clear she wants to stay. Well, any last thoughts on procrastination?
No, not really.
Okay, thank you for your wisdom.
Yeah, happy to be here.
And Chianti, thank you for your wisdom. She's so cute. So that's all for today. Don't forget to check out Akiflow. Good luck if you're procrastinating, and see you soon.